welcome back to Black Book Stacks. I'm your host, Hurston Sanders. Showing off a little bit more skin than usual. I hope that's okay with you guys. It's a little warm, even with the windows open, so you could hear all the ambient music of the Bronx. Thank you so much for your likes, shares, and subscribes. I appreciate them. It's been fun seeing some of the comments, as always. Would love to hear what you're reading now that we are in mid-October, which is unbelievable. I thought I would do a currently reading, looking forward to reading, or TBR, just mashup for October releases and publications. Some of them I haven't gotten to. I have one for November, and I have one for January, but I'll start in awkward order because I'm me. Fierce Love by Reverend Dr. Jacqui Lewis. So I am loving this. I am almost all the way through. It comes out in November from Random House, and the Reverend Dr. Lewis is the first Black or female senior minister at Collegiate Church in Manhattan. And this is the story basically of her journey to answering her calling, but also to working through like issues around love and intimacy. And essentially, like, the tagline is a bold path to ferocious courage, ferocious courage and rule-breaking kindness that can heal the world, which is amazing. So yeah, I love this so much. Fierce Love, the concept of fierce love is amazing to me, and so I've really enjoyed reading that. So that comes out November 9th. I have not even looked at this yet, but I'm so excited. Just wanted to do like a quick galley brag about the collection of Zora Neale Hurston's essays called You Don't Know Us, Negroes. It is scheduled to come out in January, and I could not be more excited. This is from Amistad. As you'll recall, they also have published her collection of short stories, and I think I can probably link to the video I did just about that below, but you can also find it on my YouTube channel. Gosh, was it more than a year ago? Maybe it was a year ago. Hitting a straight lick with a crooked stick or something like that. But anyway, love this beautiful cover, and can't wait to dig in. So that's for January. So for an October, I have not had a chance to read Hunting by Stars, but this looks amazing. It is an imprint of Abrams Amulet Books, and it's essentially a story about indigenous folks. I think it's set in the past or the future, not really sure. I think it's more of a YA kind of book. Yes, it's a YA novel. A high-stakes ride through a dangerous near future, climate crisis, disease, and other disasters, societal collapse, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, I love this cover. I started trying to read it, and I couldn't make my way very far into it because I have these other things on my plate. But definitely, if you're into YA that is about disastrous situations and overcoming them, that might be your jam. Of the books I did complete or nearly complete, Until I Am Free by Keisha and Blain. Oh my gosh. Fannie Lou Hamer's Enduring Message to America. What a great read. It's really short. It's maybe, I want to say, yeah, it's like 130 something pages, 136. Comes out from Beacon. It was published or scheduled to be published October 5th, so it's out now. You know, I think I was writing on Twitter about how, like, I think the most famous quote I ever hear when people are talking about Fannie Lou Hamer, they're talking essentially about her saying she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this is so much more rich than that. You know, it explains essentially the circumstances under which she came up, the fact that she didn't really have the benefit of going through much education as a young woman, and that essentially like her activism became her calling, her vocation on her life, and she used what she knew in her lived experience to, one, educate herself, but then also to educate others. And I just was so taken by how much she was able to accomplish. You know, we talk a lot about interlocking oppressions in the framework of intersectionality, and you know, I was struck by the fact that she embodied the sentiment of the Combahee River Collective, who wrote in 1977 that until Black women are free, nobody can be free. And here we have her in a 1967 speech saying, "We have a long fight, and this fight is not mine alone, but you are not free whether you are white or black until I am free, because no man is an island unto himself." So, but anyway, really amazing, I think, and timely biography of Fannie Lou Hamer, and really important. So you should certainly pick that up. Another really wonderful book that I got a lot of the way through, but not much, is Toni Morrison's Spiritual Vision. This is by Nadra Nittle, who's a Los Angeles-based writer. She wrote a book. She wrote other books. Another book, the author of Recognizing Microaggressions. But this also was scheduled to come out October 5th. And so I did not realize that Toni Morrison was Catholic, and maybe that I don't know why I didn't even pick that up as someone who was raised Catholic, and a black woman writer who was raised Catholic at that. Like, that's so strange to me that I just never really picked that up. But apparently Nadra, whose name I hope I'm saying correctly, wrote a piece in 2017 exploring Toni Morrison's identity as a Catholic novelist, which is fascinating to me. And you know, she talks about essentially like the way that most readers and critics in general of American literature, not just of Toni Morrison, kind of struggled to create language around what she was doing in her literature, and I think it added to the enigma and the mystery of Toni Morrison that she didn't necessarily publish like a memoir, and sort of resisted that. So this is kind of basically as close of a memoir that we're gonna get in terms of like getting closer to understanding some of her motivations. And yeah, there are lines like this. When Morrison said she would rather write fiction because her own life didn't interest her, she overlooked how much she appreciated growing up with relatives who didn't distinguish between the dream world and the waking world, openly discussed paranormal experiences, and used their intuition to make both urgent and everyday decisions. So anyway, it's interesting to see how Nittle basically analyzes different Toni Morrison works through the lens of her spirituality and her Catholicism, the Black mythology that she uses, for example, and folklore and syncretic themes that emerge throughout her body of work. So this is actually really interesting. Shout out to Kelly Hughes for sharing an ARC with me pretty early. Have we talked about Tamron Hall's book, As the Wicked Watch? I don't know if we have. I certainly covered it as part of a Boston Globe roundup, but I really enjoyed, and so apologies if I've already talked about this book, because I am not keeping good track of what I have said before. It's a good thing that I don't lie essentially about how I feel about things, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep track. So this apparently is like the first in a series of Jordan Manning novels, and Jordan Manning is the main character in this book. She is a broadcast journalist in Chicago, recently transplanted from Austin, I believe, and her first basically big story or a career-making story for her is basically this serial killer who essentially is targeting Black girls and women in the area. So it's a very interesting kind of soapy kind of writing, and it was scheduled to come out in October. I don't know if it's still on track, but As the Wicked Watch is the Emmy Award winning journalist Tamron Hall's debut novel, I think. Asali Solomon's The Days of Afrekete? It might be Afrekete. So this is a story of Selena and Lisel, who are old classmates at Bryn Mawr. And more than that, they're lovers, and so they rediscover each other in midlife. And yeah, it's sort of a poetic and sweet novel, rather slim, less than 200 pages. So definitely interesting. Look at this beautiful cover. I don't know if I can get it to focus or not. I interviewed Asali for Kirkus about Disgruntled, I believe, when it came out and I was living in DC. So it's great to read her work again. I think I have already talked to you guys about Monster in the Middle, but if you have not picked it up, I highly recommend it. It was one of my favorite reads this year. I think it's because it's about love. It's the story of two modern day people, Fly and Stella, who meet in 21st century New York City, but it also delves back into the love stories of their parents and their parents before them, and kind of essentially is like a genealogy of love and relationship and intimacy. Really beautifully done, and the characters are really alive. I really love their speech, the way that they talk, their language is also really interesting to me. Okay, so those are October, November, January releases. I think December is a light month, maybe because Christmas, I'm not really sure. But my favorite purchase so far is this follow-up to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. And this is Benjamin Alire Saenz. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, sorry, but Benjamin, this is his follow-up to that book, which came out quite a while ago, I think over 10 years ago. And I had the pleasure of being a writing fellow at Lambda Literary in 2019, and Benjamin, I think, was part of the faculty. And I got to hear him speak a little bit about his process, and that was how I understood what who Aristotle and Dante in the context of YA were. And like it's one of the most memorable YA books I've ever read. And so I don't know, I'm like both delighted, and like it's won all these awards: a Prince Honor Award, Stonewall Book Award winner, Pure Belpré, Lambda Literary, Kirkus Review's Best Teen Book of the Year. I mean, like on and on and on, right? But like they're two boys in a border town who fall in love, and this, I guess, is the continuation of their relationship. How do they stay in love? How do they build a relationship? I think I read like the first quote or something like that, and I just was like, everywhere I turned, everywhere I went, everybody has something to say about love. I can't even handle it. Like, I have chills already. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it through this book. But anyway, by far the most exciting book acquisition I've had in quite some time. I know you can tell. There are some other ones that are coming in early 2022, but I will leave it there. I would love to hear what you're reading. I already have some recommendations. Not like I can stop what I'm doing and read them right now anyway, but it's still good to have them. Do people hoard book recommendations? I guess they can, and they do. So that's probably me as well. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, what you're up to, and looking forward to hearing from you, seeing you again soon.